That was my granny calling. Anyway, going back to this, but I don't like how it's just he's making an inquiry into Jeffrey Epstein and what's going on in his house, but he's also making like the witness seem like they're very important. You've got some information that we want to know, and we just want to know it for you. But we think you're a victim, and you know how he's playing it.
I appreciate you coming down to talk to me. You're not in any trouble whatsoever.
Okay.
I just want to put that out there right now.
Okay.
You're not in any trouble whatsoever. The reason why I wanted...
See, if I would have done it, I would have played it far more chilled out. Hi, we're doing an investigation into someone we believe you know or have met, and we're just going to ask you some questions about it. You know, you don't even need to put the idea that you're not in trouble. Why would they think they're in trouble? If you're making an investigation into a person and you want to ask them questions, you don't even need to start saying that they're in trouble, or that you think they're a victim, or that you think they're a witness, or you something like that. And you just ask the question. So, have you met this person? How old were you in this person? You know, you say it in a very casual way, but the way he's talking, it's almost like he's implying that there's something major going on, and you could be very special if you just give me the right information. I don't like how it's being done, this interview.
Talk to you as I am conducting an ongoing investigation for quite some time now on a subject by the name of Jeffrey Epstein. Okay? Enter my investigation.
How he's saying it is almost like, wow, we think you're very important because you can give us information. You just need to give us the right information. I don't like how that's being conducted.
No, that you have some knowledge and you've been at the house. And that's what I want to talk to you about. And again,
just ask the questions.
You're not in any trouble.
Not in trouble.
You're not a suspect.
Starting around the questions.
Witness, possibly a victim. But I do want to talk to you. Okay?
Repeating myself again. You're a victim. You're a victim.
Before we start, can you raise your right hand for me?
Yeah.
If you want to know if someone's a victim or not, I think the first thing you should do is never ask them, or never try and put ideas into their head that you think they're a victim or that you think they're a witness. You just need to ask them some questions, and don't start putting ideas into their head. You know, when my sister was going to buy £500,000 worth of mortgages, you know, I didn't want to put ideas into my uncle's head. I didn't say, so my sister's done some really strange things and I really don't agree with it, but I want to know what you agree with it. And then no, I first of all just said, Sophie's done this, what is your thoughts? You know, and if you want to get this person is inviting people into this house and we think you're one of them and we'd like to know why, or what the reason was, or you know, something like that. You don't start putting ideas that they're a victim, because if he hadn't have said the word victim, if he hadn't have said the word witness, if he hadn't said the thing, you know, we think you have information, you know, she would have just been like, I'm just going to say how I think of it, and maybe how she thought of it. It was, I was really poor, I really needed money, and wow, I got £200 for taking my top off for half an hour, you know, and maybe that's how she thinks it, and therefore by sort of implying that she would, and she does say that she was 18 when she met him. I was after graduation, so she doesn't talk about her being a child, and if the only reason why there's so much sort of like frustration, or if the only reason why that guy was committing crimes was because he was doing it against children, well, the first thing that she says was that she was not illegal, she was not underage, so therefore she's not a victim. If the only reason why these people were victims is because they were 16 and 17, she wasn't 16 or 17, so she's not a victim. And by saying that we think you're a victim, how can you be a victim if it's a consensual sexual act done with an 18-year-old? That's not a victim. I don't understand what's wrong with this with the American community. Like, why is it illegal to transport someone across state lines for prostitution? I don't understand like why that's illegal. If they wanted to sell sex in a different state, or if they live in Florida and they want to go to New York to have sex with someone for £200, and if someone else helped them with their transport, why is that a crime? I'm really confused. Laws are supposed to be designed to protect people, and if them getting work in a different state helps them because it gives them more money by allowing them to see the clients that they want to see. You know, there are some people that I like and there's some people that I don't like. If I have to travel further to see someone that I do like who's going to pay me twice as much as other people, then that's a good thing for me. And I don't.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. How did you meet Mr. Epstein?
Through a friend.
Through a friend?
Uh-huh.
What school were you going to when you...
I wasn't in school when I met him. I had already graduated.
See, there we go. So what school were you? Like almost implying that I know you were a child. I know you were at school. And she's just like, no, I wasn't actually at school. I had graduated. I'd left. And so him, by wording this, it's almost like saying, I know information that you don't know, which is that you were at a school. So what school were you at? And rather than actually just say, when did you meet him, rather than just get to the facts, it's almost like he's trying to word things in a way that he's trying to get her to say, oh yeah, I was at school, oh yeah, I was a child, oh yeah, I used to wear mini skirts and it was a baby. I don't know what he's trying to aggravate the questions so that she says something incriminating. And by calling someone that's not a victim before he's even asked any questions, I feel like he's just putting
You already graduated?
Yeah.
Okay, how old are you now?
19.
19. How long ago did you meet him?
About a year, I'd say, maybe a little over a year. Right around a year.
Okay. Again, I've talked to a lot of girls, 30, almost 40 girls so far. And so I know pretty much when he takes you to the house what transpires, okay?
Okay, that's another thing. So he's told this person who's supposed to be a witness, we know what goes on. We know what goes on. And she's probably just thinking, well, maybe I don't want you to know. You know, if actually someone said to me, you're a masseuse, I know what masseuses do. You know, I would actually hate them. I would hate them for assuming that they know what I've done before I've even said anything, because I've had people all my life. I don't like telling people that I do massage for a living, because I know that in their mind they're assuming that I've had sex, that I've done that, I'm doing all sorts of extras, that I do hand relief. I do not do hand relief, but I know that they're assuming that I'm doing all these things, and therefore to have an investigation into this, but for all the questions to aim, oh, we know what goes on, we know what kind of things are happening in there, and we would like you to be honest about what you're doing, because we know. It's almost like they're attacking these people. She's claiming that she was 18 at the time. Now, if that's the truth, then she shouldn't have to reveal anything. She shouldn't have to say anything if she doesn't want to. And the fact that he's wording, oh, we know what's going on, you have to tell us. And it's almost like if she starts thinking, oh, he wants me to say, oh, I did this, oh, he wants me, you know, if he's been saying this to 40 other people and wording things in a way that we think you're a good witness, and you know we're doing a bigger crime, you know, he's egging them on and saying, tell me all the dirt, tell me that he fingered you, tell me that he did this, tell me that he did this. And you know, maybe he didn't do those things, but the way he's sort of putting the possible victim on a spotlight and almost saying, you know, we know what you've done, even though you don't know. This is interviews should not be done this way. Interviews should be done, we want to bring this person in, we want to find out how, you know, what if someone started sort of wanting to talk to me about what I do in my sessions, and then started making out that they know exactly what I'm doing in my sessions, but also started implying that this person was extremely rich and that he's got lots of this, he's doing a lot of this, you know, maybe I would be someone who would be like, you know what, I don't mind lying. I don't mind saying that more happened than it actually did. You know, maybe he told me, he asked me to take my top off and I actually did. I mean, I didn't, but maybe if I say I didn't, I'll give him the information that he wants to hear. You know, how he's saying it, the person who's listening to or answering these questions could take it into two terms. Should they be on the side of Epstein, or should they be on the side of this person who's doing an investigation and is making it very clear that he wants me to say a big long list of shit about this person, even though she's also said that she's 18. Maybe she wasn't actually 18, but you know, he should just have a conversation. Do you know what dates? You know, because she's saying she's 19 and she's saying this was over a year ago. Now, if this was over a year ago, then she wasn't 18, she was 17. So either it was under 18 or maybe she was 17. But I don't know. But he's digging for information, and I think if someone wanted to be on the investigator's side, if someone thought, oh wow, this guy, or maybe they won't think anything during the interview, but a couple of days later they might realize that, oh, maybe I can sue that guy, and then they can start thinking back at all the questions that he asked. oh, he obviously wanted me to spill dirt on him. And then they might think, you know what, I'm going to go to that one and I'm going to change my story and I'm going to say, you know what, yeah, he did all this. And then I'm going to try and get compensation money. You know, if these 40 victims who are supposed to be victims have had this type of conversation with this person, they might have just said, oh no, nothing happened. But then later realized, if I said something happened, then maybe I can claim money from it. And therefore, I just think this interview is totally, it should be completely annulled because of how he's talking, how he's implying that he thinks these are victims. That's not how an interview should be. An interview should be where you just have a plain conversation. What happened? Tell me the truth. Tell me your version. How did you feel? Don't start putting it into their head that they're a victim or a witness or that they have important information. Don't start saying any of this, because as soon as you start saying this to them, they start feeling like they have a sense of importance, providing you say the information that they want to hear. And if these people that he's talking to want to be on his side, they might actually start changing the story and not giving the truth. If it was about finding the truth, then you should just sit them down and say, tell me the truth. Who is this guy to you? What happened? And don't give any information. Don't say that you've spoken to 40 other girls. Even giving that kind of information is bad practice into finding out the truth. Don't say that if you told that person that we've heard you've gone into the house and we just want to know what happened. You know, she might actually say, oh yeah, I went in there, he asked if I'd do a massage and I came out and I didn't want to go ahead with the session because I felt weird. Or, you know, she might have said something like that. But if you start saying, oh, he's had 40 other girls and they've made complaints, or if you start giving any information about anything, you start contaminating the interview. And I do not, as someone who's well informed on how to interview people, you should not, this is bad practice on what he's doing.
I know it might be a little embarrassing or whatever, but don't be. Like I said, I've talked to many people already.
I know it's embarrassing, you know, why? I'm not embarrassed about I am embarrassed about my client, but I don't feel embarrassed. If someone told me that I should be embarrassed about what I do in my sessions, then automatically you make me feel like I've done something wrong, and I don't want to do something wrong. And therefore, if blaming what I did on someone else is going to make me feel less embarrassed, then I feel like saying things like this, we don't want to embarrass you. We just want you to say the truth. You know, saying things like this makes them want to attack the other person. It's not my fault he did it. When really maybe she knew, oh, I'm getting £200 for this, and I'm going to do this because I want the £200 so I can go to Disneyland or whatever.
Pretty much familiar as to what happened in the house, okay? Walk me through this when you went to his house for the first time.
Okay. She took me over to the house. She waited downstairs. I just went up, gave him a massage, and that was it. I mean...
Okay. She approached you to
yeah,
work?
She's like, oh, you know, do you need to make any extra money? I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, I can give you, like $200. There's this older guy in Palm Beach. He gets a lot of massages from girls. You know, that's all she told me. That's what I mean.
Okay. Are you a licensed therapist or masseuse therapist?
No, I'm not licensed, no.
No, but you know how to give...
So I guess by that you've also kind of by saying, so are you a licensed massage? So, you know, you might actually get in trouble for offering a massage when you're not licensed. You don't actually need to be licensed. I know that laws might say that you do, but you don't. And I feel like by even saying things like that, you know, he knows that she's not licensed. Someone said, do you want to offer a massage? And she said yes. And by it sort of implying that she needs some sort of license to do this, it is almost like you're saying, well, we might put some blame on you because you were offering massage and you weren't licensed. You know, you're not allowed to just sell things in the street, and therefore maybe you're not allowed to just offer massage to whoever. And so by saying things like that, you've also made her feel like maybe I should be licensed, maybe you know, and she's thinking, no, I'm not, because that's the truth. But she's also thinking, maybe I should be. Maybe I'm going to be getting in trouble. I don't want to be getting in trouble. And I feel like saying things like that is going to give them more reason to want to try and blame the other person, because she doesn't want to get accused of you know, offering massage without a license.
Massage. Okay. Is this something that you did on the side, or is this...
Only, I mean, no, just like for him. That was really it.
All right.
You know what else is
So
very...
just for one person. That's it. So this isn't a case of him offering lots of girls. She wasn't saying that she'd done it to lots of people. He wasn't, you know, because that's what they're trying to make out with the Jeffrey Epstein, that he was taking all these girls and then trafficking them off to other people. And this was just very cold. This was just very normal. There was nothing like abnormal, nothing wrong about this, and yet someone is
from these interviews, aside from the fact that you hear how young they are even when they're speaking.
You could see how young they were even when they were speaking. Yeah, she said she was 18 and graduated. I sound young. I'm 38. You know, I'm not actually young. You know.
How their stories were all consistent. How their stories seemed to match up. Here's part of it.
They all seem to match up. They've gone to this house. They've had a massage. So what?
Interview with another victim.
She told me about this guy I was short on rent 1 month, and she told me that all I had to do was give him a massage, and he would give me $200. And that's pretty much it. And I thought about it. I was like, I really need the money. I've asked my parents. They can't give me the money. I asked everyone I knew. And I went there with her. I gave him a massage, and it was a weird situation.
And the audio here isn't as clear, but listen to what another victim told detectives.
A friend of mine told me about Jeffrey. Said,
I'm lacking to see what the crime is. Seriously, if this is all you've got, people saying the same thing that Ghislaine Maxwell said, hey, do you want to make £200? You know, if someone would have said that to me, oh wow, £200, that's amazing. Okay, I would have thought that sounds too easy. What else are you going to get for £200? Because of course you're going to get a little bit more. And you know, if they are 18, okay, if it's 16, 17, which I think is why she's in prison, because she was targeting girls that might have been a little bit younger than 18. But yeah, there's this whole video is supposed to be 5 most shocking Epstein revelations unveiled, and this is all they've got. Some person who's supposed to be an investigator, putting ideas into people's heads that they've done something wrong, that they perhaps should have had a license before doing this, and that they might be in trouble. But they're not in trouble. They're not in trouble. You need to make that clear. They're not in trouble. We've just had conversations with 40 other girls because they're all saying the same thing, and we want to know what your story is because we're doing an investigation and we're trying to dig into as much details as possible. So yeah, if you want to give us some sort of information that would we want to hear, then great. You know, that's almost what it sounds like. And it's just I don't know, there's so many people that would watch this, and then there's other people that go on about how they're all child traffickers. You got 3 people having an interview like this, just saying that they went to some guy's house, offered a massage, got £200, and there's hundreds of victims of all trafficked girls that have been raped. These girls are not saying that they've been raped. They're saying that they've gone to a house, they've given a massage for £200. I'm sure they probably offered hand jobs and they probably gave some sort of sexual service. But if they're claiming to be 18, then I hate the frustration of how people don't care about the facts. They care about the sensationalization of just trying to make out that this guy was raping children, when that's not what I'm hearing from any of these videos.